Weather Rates certified 11 years in a row.
A new month, but the same old weather story.
Yes, snow, 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 Alana.
Oh, winter, you're so funny, right? Today we start meteorological spring, but you wouldn't know because a winter storm continues to impact parts of the state. Live look at Bryce Canyon where the snow is coming down. We knew this system would favor southern Utah, and that's exactly what it's doing tonight. We do have some decent totals coming out of the south. 8 inches in New Harmony. This is the upper end of Washington County. Zion National Park getting 7 inches, half a foot in places like Kanab, Grand Staircase, Diamond Valley picked up 3. Dameron Valley had plenty of snow. 1.8 in Hanksville, Cedar City at 1.5. We know those numbers could go up here when we get our latest totals. An inch in Oak City and even places like Roy and Daybreak in the north picking up some measurable snow. This is what it looked like in Dameron Valley. My goodness, can you believe this is just outside of St. George, the snow coming down? It is rain in St. George proper, and as we take a look at the storm tracker radar, it's sweeping the region, and you can see that rain starting to pull away and clear St. George, but towards Zion, we've got mixed precip. Highway 89 from Long Valley to Kanab, definitely dealing with snow in the high country as well as over towards Bryce Canyon and Beaver County, and we've peppered in some wet weather near Lake Powell and Moab at this hour. This system's going to continue to track east and eventually will clear the region, but not before dropping off a little more accumulation, really focusing on the south, picking up most likely 2 inches or more in the mountains, maybe a 2 to 4 additional when it comes to tonight, as the system will clear the area just after midnight. As we move away from the moisture in St. George, we pick up with the winds. Yeah, we get that northerly flow, enhanced canyon winds, so our gap winds will be noticeable with gusts up to 55 miles per hour for this portion of the state. Secure those loose objects. Areas prone to this, you know I'm talking to you in Washington County, near Snow Canyon, near Zion. We know that the winds are going to be strong, so a heads up there. Now, in the north, we've quieted down, but it is still overcast, and we hold on to that view from Ensign Peak where you can't see the city, and typically you can. Temperatures in the upper 30s. That northwesterly wind has a little bit of a bite, so the wind chill, actually the real feel, feels colder than the numbers actually show, running below average. Speaking of averages and whatnot, we look at our February weather summary. Did really well on snowfall, still below average with precip. Temperatures were colder than they typically are, and as we look at the precip calendar, you can see the last 10 days of the month in Salt Lake is really when we ramped up that accumulation with that storm of the season, followed by the series of storms that have impacted us this week. We're going to quiet things down, but just for a short break, let me walk you through. Here's that system impacting the south. As we get through the next several hours and into tomorrow morning, it clears to the southeast. We get cloud cover left behind. Quiet conditions. Thursday stays pretty quiet, but it will be chilly. Wind chill values will make it feel colder than the numbers show. Late in the day and then to the evening, we start to see increasing cloud cover, and that's because Friday we get a brush-by system that brings the potential for some valley rain, mountain snow, just a few inches up there in the high country for northern Utah. It's a quick little clipper. It comes through, but it keeps an active pattern, which means we won't see inversion building, and we could see just a little more precipitation. Taking a look at those numbers, 20s and 30s for the Wasatch Front. Cold for the overnight, down to the teens in many locations. Salt Lake into the 20s, 30s in Price, 30s for the I-15 corridor. Let's zoom in and you find your city, and you're going to notice those numbers in Park City getting down to the teens. We've got 20s over in Tooele. Those 20s really along the Wasatch Front. Ogden getting down to 19 tonight. Tomorrow below average throughout the state, lots of 20s and 30s, and that will be the actual temperature. The real feel will be even colder, 47 in St. George, where we dry out and have a subtle warming trend as we get through the next 7 days. Tomorrow, slight chance maybe a shower holds on, but the winds are going to be the issue for lower Washington County. Gusty winds. Here's the Wasatch Front. Quick system Friday, then again on Sunday with the chance of snow that lingers into early Monday and then clears. Temperatures staying below average. Usually this time of year, we're in the low to mid 40s. When we hit 42 on Sunday, I'm going to be like, yeah, that feels great.
It feels so good.
Grab the sunglasses and the sunscreen, right?
Heat wave, tropical heat wave.
There you go.
Thank you, Alana. Time now for a look at sports with What's the Ref.
5A in the spotlight today.
Round ball action continuing up in Ogden. The final week of the high school basketball season continues. The 5A boys and girls on the